Level 1. The patrol officer Yuri, 21 years old. You graduated the academy 3 months ago. The uniform still feels borrowed. Your field training officer is a 16-year veteran named Patterson who says almost nothing on your first ride along. He lets you talk. You describe a traffic stop for 11 minutes. Patterson listens. Back in the car he says, "You gave him your entire nervous system. He needed 30 seconds. That's the job, already teaching you something the academy could not. The radio is always on. You hear it. The tactical frequency, short call signs, economical language, a different dialect from the rest of dispatch. Units rolling code 3. You listen the way someone watches a door they know they'll eventually walk through. You don't know that yet. First year is the floor. Traffic enforcement on the interstate. Shoplifting calls. Welfare checks on people you'll never see again. Your beat covers 6 square miles. You memorize the corners, the alleys, the houses where certain calls always come from. You write incident reports until your eyes dry. The job is mostly paperwork interrupted by moments you don't expect. On a Friday night, a domestic disturbance that turns into armed subject with a hostage. You're the first unit. You stage outside. Negotiators work for 3 hours. The subject surrenders. You go home at 2 a.m. and lie awake until 5. That Thursday you apply for SWAT. Level 2. The candidate Yuri, 23 years old. 3 years on patrol. Your application packet was 7 pages. Service record, commendations, 2 supervisor endorsements. A personal statement you rewrote 4 times because sounding too eager is a disqualification. The department runs 1 selection cycle per year. Of the 31 applications, 14 candidates are invited. You are one of them. Selection is 4.5 days. 19 arrive. 5 leave. The first day physical tests come back to back with no rest. A 1.5 mile run under 11 minutes, 40 push-ups in 60 seconds, bench press at body weight, 100-meter swim in full tactical gear, then waiting in cold that stiffens your joints. Instructor Hauerin, a compact gray-eyed sergeant, runs the selection. On day 2 you run a live scenario in a mock residential structure. An armed subject behind a closed door, a civilian at an unknown position. You've been awake 29 hours. You hold your advance. You call out twice. You wait for confirmation before changing your angle. It costs you 6 seconds. In the debrief, Hauerin circles those 6 seconds. Why the hold? You explain civilian position unconfirmed. He writes something. Doesn't tell you if it was right. Moves on. On the final day, 11 candidates remain. You are one of them. 3 weeks later, a phone call. You made the team. You sit in your car for 20 minutes with the engine off and the radio silent. Your hands grip the steering wheel. Then you go back inside your apartment. The lease was month to month. You didn't know why until now. Level 3. The probationary operator Yuri, 24 years old. Passing selection is not being a SWAT operator. The probationary period is 1 year. You perform at full operational capacity. You respond to every call-out. You run every drill. You are being evaluated constantly by people who do not announce they are evaluating you. Your team sergeant is Ramirez, 12 years on the unit. Precise the way a good surgeon is precise. No wasted motion. No wasted words. When he corrects something, he does it once. Calmly, he expects it resolved. If you make the same mistake twice, he corrects it a second time in a lower voice. That drop in register is the signal. Your gear weighs 62 pounds. Level 4 ballistic plates, helmet, Glock 17, 416 Hong Kong dollars patrol rifle, tourniquet, breaching tool, radio. You move in it like it weighs nothing because hesitation reads in your body before it reaches your face. This team reads bodies. Your first call-out comes 3 months in. A barricaded subject in the south sector, believed armed. You hold the northeast perimeter corner for 4 hours and 11 minutes. A negotiator works the phone. At the 47-minute mark, a window curtain moves. You radio it. It moves again at 2 hours 19 minutes. You radio it again. At 3 hours 52 minutes, the subject appears at the front door. Hands visible. He surrenders. In the debrief, Ramirez says, "Good eyes on that window both times." 4 words. In this unit, that is a formal citation. You drive home in the gray dawn. You sit in your driveway. You cry for the first time since selection. Not from relief. From recognition. You belong here. They know it. You know it. The probationary period ends. Ramirez shakes your hand and does not smile, which is a smile. Level 4. The operator Yuri, 25 years old. You are a SWAT operator. The title is not ceremonial. It means you are the least experienced person in every room you walk into for the next several years. Nobody says that out loud. Nobody has to. You are assigned to the entry element. You do not breach doors yet. You hold the corners nobody photographs. You move in the stack with trained coherence. You read teammates without language. The shift of a shoulder before a corner. A fist at the edge of a doorway. 2 fingers toward a staircase. Individual excellence is the floor, not the ceiling. Your element leader is Sergeant Chen, 14 years on the team. She talks very little. On a Wednesday call-out, a high-risk warrant service on a known methamphetamine distributor. Known weapons in the house. 2 hours of surveillance before the green light. The entry plan is briefed twice. Every contingency. Every unknowable. Chen walks the floor plan once, studies her team's faces, and says, "We move like this is the last time we'll ever move." That is the entirety of her preamble. The breach happens at 6:17 a.m. Cruz hits the door. You follow Chen into a hallway lined with bedrooms. Controlled chaos. Nobody panics. The subject is in the rear bedroom. He reaches toward a nightstand. Chen is there. One command. He stops. No rounds fired. The entire operation is 34 seconds from breach to all clear. In the debrief, someone mentions a momentary hesitation at the 3rd bedroom. Chen asks you about it. You explain your sight line was partially obscured. She nods. That is the correction. You will not hesitate there again. You drive home. You eat food without tasting it. You sleep for 11 hours. That is what an operator's body does after an entry. It empties itself completely. Level 5, the senior operator Yuri, 27 years old. You have been on 34 callouts. Your unit has now seen you in 40 scenarios, live and training, and you move the same way in both. Predictable. Precise. Reliable. Those are better than fast. You are assigned as the number 2 in the stack behind Chen. When she is managing communications with command, you are running the immediate tactical picture. When a breach needs adjusting in real time, you adjust it. When a teammate goes down, you are the one closest. You attend an advanced tactical leadership course at the state training facility. 2 weeks of scenario-based instruction in small unit decision-making under stress. You graduate 2nd in your class. You do not mention it when you return. The team sees the work. Your first time leading a breaching stack comes on a Saturday in October. A warrant for a known violent offender. Gang affiliations. Likely weapons. The intelligence is 4 hours old. You brief your element 3 times. Every person repeats back their sector. Every contingency is named. The entry plan is solid. You walk to the door knowing that you will move fast, move smart, and move with your team like they are extensions of your own body. The breach happens at 4:33 a.m. Your command is clear. Your team executes. 12 seconds. The subject is handcuffed before he fully understands he is not in his bedroom anymore. In the parking lot afterward, Chen pulls you aside. She says, "That's how it's done. Nothing else." That one sentence is the highest evaluation you have received. You also begin formal precision rifle training. The unit has designated sniper positions. You attend a 3-day basic course. It is not what you expected. A lot of waiting. Math. Wind reading. Breathing. The actual shot is 5 seconds of a 5-day course. The sniper world moves at a different pace than entry. Everything is patience. Everything is calculated. Everything lives or dies on one moment of absolute focus. You like it? Level 6, the Breacher Yuri, 28 years old. You have specialized in explosive breaching. You attended the multi-week certification course at the Federal Training Facility. You learn mechanical breaching, the Halligan bar, the reciprocating saw, thermite charges. You learn the physics of blast pressure, entry angles, how to calculate the exact point where a door becomes useless. You learn that you can be exact about a lot of things, but you can never be exact about what is on the other side. A breacher is the first thing a hostile target sees. A breacher is the most visible, the most vulnerable, the most dependent on the rest of the team moving exactly when the breacher has done their job. You are certified to carry the 35-pound battering ram, the explosive charges, and the weight of knowing that when the door opens, lives depend on the next 3 seconds. Your unit runs a call-out on a Tuesday evening. A barricaded subject in an apartment complex. Multiple neighbors present. The subject has been inside for 6 hours. Negotiators have reached him twice. He is escalating. The entry is authorized. Your element stages 2 blocks away. You carry the ram. At the command, you move with 18 pounds of ballistic protection and 35 pounds of tool, your rifle slung awkwardly across your body, and every muscle is about running into a closed door at full speed without hesitation. The distance is 40 meters. You cover it in 23 seconds. The door is solid oak, deadbolt, chained. Your first swing hits at the frame. The door shudders. Your second swing is at the lock. The frame cracks. Your third swing and the door opens. You step back. Chin moves through. The subject is on the floor, crying, unarmed, the gun beside him on the couch. The unit clears the apartment in 9 seconds. Nobody is hurt. In the parking lot, you realize your hands are shaking. Not from fear. From adrenaline leaving your system all at once. Ramirez, who is now a lieutenant, sees it. He says, "That shake you're feeling is your body being honest. Listen to it. It's the only warning you get." You will think about that sentence for years. Level 7, the Corporal Yuri, 30 years old. You are promoted to corporal. You are now the assistant team leader. You serve as the second voice in the stack. You run the tactical picture when the team leader is managing comms. You are responsible for adjusting entries in real time. You have completed a leadership development course. You understand not just how to move through a building, but how to lead people through the most difficult moments their bodies will ever experience. Your team leader is Sergeant Morales, 18 years on the unit. She runs call-outs the way a conductor runs an orchestra. Every person knows exactly where they fit, exactly when they move, exactly what they do when something deviates from the plan. You observe her. You learn. A call-out comes on a Friday night. A domestic disturbance that has escalated to armed barricade. The spouse is inside. 2 children are inside. The subject has made statements about harming himself and the family. This is now a suicide by cop scenario, or a hostage situation, or both. The entry is not authorized yet. Negotiators work for 4 hours. The subject agrees to surrender but will only surrender to you. To Morales specifically. She has managed 3 prior calls with him. He trusts her to not shoot him. The entry is authorized. You are in the stack. Morales is walking in with her rifle lowered, hands visible, voice calm, calling the subject's name over and over. "John, this is Morales. We're coming in. Don't move. Put the gun down." The hallway is narrow. You follow at 12 feet distance. The subject appears around a corner holding a revolver pointed at his own temple. Morales does not hesitate. "Put the gun down, John. Right now. We will get you help." He puts the gun down. He sits. He cries. The wife and children are unharmed. In the parking lot, Morales debriefs the team. She does not praise herself. She talks about what almost went wrong. "If he had moved left instead of right, the hallway would have been too narrow for us to see each other. We have to account for that next time." Accountability. Continuous improvement. Never satisfaction. That is leadership. Later, you are told you are being promoted to sergeant. Level 8, the sergeant. You're 32 years old. You are promoted to sergeant. You now command an entry element. You lead 7 people. You are responsible for their safety, their performance, their continued development, and the quality of every decision that gets made once the door opens. There are no perfect decisions. There are only decisions you can defend. You attend a command-level leadership course. 2 weeks of scenario-based training where you are the one making the call when conditions change, when intelligence is incomplete, when the time to decide is now, and you will never have all the information you want. You learn that leadership is not about having all the answers. It is about asking the right questions and listening to your team's answers without ego. Your first operation as a sergeant happens on a Monday in March. A high-risk warrant, drug trafficking. Likely weapons. Intel is moderate confidence. Your element consists of 6 people. You have chosen them carefully. Chin is your number 2, now a corporal. She has been your reference point for 10 years. You walk the floor plan with your team twice. You ask every person where they see the risk. You listen to their concerns without interrupting. One team member flags the rear exit. Another flags a window that could be a secondary egress. A third suggests the subject may barricade rather than surrender based on his prior history. You adjust the plan. You station a team outside the rear. You position Overwatch on the window. You brief the negotiators that if entry is necessary, the subject's fear response will likely be fight, not flight. The warrant is served at 6 a.m. The breach happens perfectly. The subject is handcuffed before he fully wakes up. No resistance. No shots fired. In the parking lot, one of your newest operators, a woman named Martinez, asks if she did okay. You look at her. You say, "You flagged the rear exit. That preparation is why this went the way it did. You might not see it in the statistics. You'll see it in the fact that we're all standing here having this conversation." She nods. She understands. That is what a sergeant teaches, not just tactical skill, but the deeper skill of preparation and humility. Before we go further, if you've made it this far, comment what rank you'd stop at. Hit that like button right now and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We upload every single day. Level 9, the Lieutenant. You're 37 years old. You are promoted to Lieutenant. You now command the entire tactical division. You oversee all 3 operational elements. You manage training schedules, equipment procurement, interagency coordination, and all after-action reviews. When the tactical commander is unavailable, you carry full command authority. You still respond to call-outs. You are still in kit. Your position has moved from the stack to the forward command post. You hold the floor plan in your hands and the entire operation in your mind at once. You see sniper positions, containment perimeter, negotiation channel, entry readiness, the detail about the rear exit that no one else noticed. A warrant service produces a near miss. The target relocated 2 weeks prior. Your entry team executed on an unrelated family. No one was hurt. Your team responded correctly with immediate de-escalation and no use of force. But it should never have happened. You traced the failure. Not to the analyst who missed the address change. To the verification protocol that didn't require secondary confirmation within 72 hours of execution. You write a new protocol. It goes to every specialized unit in the department. Implemented within 2 weeks. The analyst is not made an example of. The system is fixed. That is leadership at your level. You own the structure, not the individual. A complex operation comes in March. A wanted fugitive in a residential area. Multiple agencies involved. FBI, DA, local uniforms. Different communication protocols. Different command structures. Different understanding of how to approach the scene. You coordinate with federal supervisors. You clarify command authority. You explain that the tactical element will breach when your signal is given, not theirs. You establish a unified communication channel. When the operation executes, it is clean. Every team knows exactly what every other team is doing. The fugitive surrenders without incident. The interagency coordination prevented the chaos that would have happened otherwise. You do not write a memo about yourself. You implement the protocol in the next joint operations training cycle. You also attend a specialized hostage negotiation course. As a lieutenant, you may be asked to make the decision to enter when a negotiation reaches its limit. You study the psychology of crisis situations. You learn that most people who barricade do not actually want to die. They want to be heard. They want the pain to stop. They want someone to see them. You learn that sometimes the bravest thing an entry team can do is wait 5 more minutes. Your daughter graduates high school. You attend the ceremony in uniform because you cannot get out early. She hugs you in front of her friends. She is proud and exasperated in equal measure. That balance, your wife tells you later, is the mark of a good parent in your line of work. Level 10, the captain. You're 41 years old. You are promoted to captain. You are now the SWAT commander. You oversee 68 sworn personnel, 4 entry elements, 3 sniper teams, a crisis negotiation unit, a training section. You approve equipment requisitions. You sign use of force reviews. You testify before city council members who ask if tactical teams cause more harm than they resolve. You answer every question patiently, accurately, without defensiveness. You believe accountability is not incompatible with good tactical work. It is the condition for it. A use of force incident occurs, an entry that resulted in injury to a civilian due to a breach location error. The entry was lawful. The force was justified. The injury was unintended. It is still an injury. You launch a comprehensive review. You identify the training gap. You implement new protocols on breach location assessment. You retrain every breacher in the division. You do not suspend anyone. You fix the system. You are called to City Hall. Council members want to discuss the incident. One asks directly if SWAT teams do more harm than good. You do not get defensive. You've asked yourself the same question. You say, the data shows that properly trained and selectively deployed SWAT teams result in lower injury rates for officers, subjects, and bystanders than patrol responses to the same categories of incident. That's not an argument for overdeployment. It's an argument for rigorous standards and disciplined activation thresholds. The question is not whether these teams should exist. It's whether the criteria for their use are precise enough and whether the accountability after every deployment is honest enough. A council member nods. Writes something down. You drive back to the precinct. The SWAT truck is backed into its bay. Clean. Kit. Ready. A young officer, maybe 23, is standing at the fence looking at it. She has the look. You recognize it because you had it at 21. You do not stop to talk to her. You go inside. You have after-action reports to review. There are always after-action reports. But before you go in, you pause at the door. You think about Patterson, who taught you that silence is information. Hauer'n, who cut 4 candidates before lunch because they couldn't handle failing. Ramirez, who corrected you once and never had to do it again. Morales and her question about what almost went wrong. Chin and her 4 words. The entry you led as a young sergeant. The woman who flagged the rear exit. The interview with city council. You think about the job the way it actually is, not easier at the top, just different. More paperwork. More meetings. Fewer entries. More decisions that affect dozens of people instead of 7. You are no longer running toward the crisis. You are managing the people who run toward the crisis. That is its own kind of precision work. You have been on SWAT for 20 years. The youngest operators on your unit now were not even born when you became a SWAT operator. You wonder sometimes if you remember how to feel what they feel. Then a call-out comes and you stand in the command post with the radio in your hand and your people moving through a building you cannot see fully, and you remember. The moment is still there. The weight is still there. The responsibility is still there. It just lives in a different place in your body now. Level 11, the legacy. You're 47 years old. You have filed your retirement. Your last day is in 3 weeks. No ceremony. You do not want one. Your replacement is Captain Maria Delgado, 44, who led the sniper section for 5 years before moving into command. She knows every operator by name. She knows how they move under pressure. She knows who slows and who speeds up. She knows who needs the question asked directly, and who works it out alone. She is ready. You know this not from her resume, but from watching someone perform under conditions where performance is the only thing that matters. Your transition is quiet. A handshake from the chief at his office on a Wednesday afternoon. A challenge coin from each element. Then one last drive to headquarters to clear your office. You pass the range where the afternoon training session is in progress. You stop the car for 30 seconds and listen to the weapon fire. Single shots. Controlled. Precise. Then you drive on. The house in the suburbs is the one you and your wife bought 11 years ago. Your daughter is finishing college. Your son is studying engineering. You give both of them versions of your week that leave out everything requiring a security clearance to understand. The first weeks are disorienting, not difficult. You have not had a morning without a defined purpose in 26 years. You run anyway. It is not a habit. It is the shape the life has pressed into you. You consult with another city's police department on tactical unit development. You watch candidates and see the gaps immediately. Not because you are exceptional, but because you have watched thousands of people move through thousands of scenarios. The patterns are visible without effort. You adjust assessment criteria. You recommend changes to physical standard sequencing. You write notes on what the evaluation is actually measuring versus what it is supposed to measure. On the last day, a young officer, 26, former Army, technically precise, with that specific quality of refusal you watched for in every selection cycle you ran, finishes the final evolution first. He does not celebrate. He steps off the course and checks his equipment. You walk over. No speech. You tell him one thing. The selection process will find exactly what you are made of. That answer is not fixed. It is being built right now by everything you do before you ever stand on that course. He says very little. He looks at you the way you once looked at Patterson in Cleveland 26 years ago. You shake his hand and walk to your car. On the drive home, you think about the first call-out. The barricaded subject who surrendered. Howard's forward feedback. The operator who flagged the rear exit. The woman who asked if she did okay. Morales walking toward the suicidal subject with her rifle lowered. Chen's voice. We move like this is the last time we'll ever move. The little girl in a bedroom in March. The council member taking notes. The young officer at the fence who had the look. You spent 26 years running toward the crisis. You trained the people who came after you. You kept the standard. You passed it forward. Somewhere in the city tonight, a team is training in the dark. New operators are learning how to move. The pipeline is running. The greatest thing you leave behind is not the commendations or the rank. It is the standard itself carried now by people who learn what right looks like by watching you, and who will pass it forward long after your name disappears from any official document. The team is intact. Your work is done.